Hi everyone. So, what I've realised is when I talk to anybody, clients, or I have mentioned some videos and they say, oh yeah, the asthma, it's in the asthma story. I've only just realised today I don't actually have the asthma story here on YouTube. It is in my Facebook group, New You Today. And it's an old video from years ago, so I'm going to do this new video because from when I did that video I've seen much more like now. It's not just about you, not your thoughts, you know, we're not even this body. So I'm going to tell this asthma story so you all know what I'm talking about. So the asthma story is from the age of being about 2, it was diagnosed that I had asthma, which then materialised into severe asthma. So coming up to being like 50, well, to being 11, they said, oh, she'd probably grow out of it. 11 came and went, and then it was like teenage years. Oh, actually, Colette is, there we go with the word and the language, Colette is a severe asthmatic. She won't grow out of this. And they were saying this because I was in hospital again for I don't know what amount of time. It probably about the 5th time I was in hospital, but this time the body had stopped breathing completely. Didn't die, but there was some kind of, I don't know what, big injection that went there. Then the breathing began again. So with this, they said, yeah, Colette is severe asthmatic. I'd been on nebulizers, and at this point I had 4 or 5 inhalers, one of them being, which everyone knows, the blue inhaler, the Ventolin inhaler. I don't even think they call it Ventolin now, something else, and it doesn't matter. So this was it. This is what the story was. Colette, I have asthma. That was the story. Everyone around me, Colette, has asthma. Oh, and it's severe. Yay, another label. So, anyway, fast forward 20s up to 40s, been hospitalised a few times, still on all the inhalers, blah, blah. And it was just one day I had a habit of losing the blue inhaler. Now, the Ventolin inhaler was the one, if an attack was imminent, in other words, if your breathlessness was getting more breathlessness, that would be the one that would really help quickly. Not always stop the attack, but it wouldn't be as severe. And I had a habit of losing it, like I lose my phone now. So when I would lose this inhaler, it was like panic stations. Everyone look for Colette's inhaler, quick, before she has a full-on attack. So this was it. I've lost my inhaler. So everyone was looking for it, and I found it, sat down, squitted it. And then Mark just said to me, very brave of him, you know, that asthma, it's all in your head, you know. I'm like, no, what are you on about? It isn't. Specialists have told me I have this severe asthma. How can it all be in my head? Don't be so silly. Luckily, he was sitting over the other side of the room. And he said, no, listen. He said, you do this. He said, and most of the time, except for today, but most of the time, you sit down, you don't use the inhaler once you've found it, and your breathing goes back all on its own. So it's in your head. I was like, don't talk so silly. Anyway, the next time I did this, because that seed was planted, I sat down and I didn't use my inhaler, and I'd noticed that the breathing had gone back on its own without any help from the Ventolin. And then I looked at that, I thought, how can that happen? I'm an asthmatic, that can't happen, but it has. So with that, this thing, like we say, shall I say, the seed grew. And then it happened a couple of more times, sat back down, didn't use the inhaler, breathing went back on its own. So with this, I began to question, is this true, really, that I need an inhaler for my breathing to go back on its own? Is any of this true and real? And with that, every time so the other inhalers that you have to use at a certain time, I use them less, and I use the blue inhaler less. without anything, I've got to get rid of this, or I even can get rid of the asthma. I didn't even think at that point it was possible, but I did think what could be possible is I use the inhalers less and I would have less attacks. That I did think there was a possibility of that, but I never thought, oh, I'm going to get rid of this asthma now. That wasn't, because it was a long time ago, like well over 10 years ago, and I don't really, I mean, if I could calculate it, but I don't, because it's not important anymore. What is important is the insights that were coming from within this wisdom, where I was actually looking now. And I saw more and more that it was just the thinking that I thought, oh, I can't do that. I can't walk fast. I can't go upstairs fast. I can't do this. Can't. Because the breathing, I'll have an asthma attack. That Colette can't do anything like that. This is the character of Colette. Because she has asthma, the label. But once I questioned it and thought, well, is it true? And this is before I even knew that I'm not the character. It was wisdom was still coming through. So I'd say after 18 odd months, not really sure how long, I suddenly saw that I wasn't using any of the time inhalers, the ones that I used at regular time, whether I was feeling good or not used. And I'd also not been using the Ventolin. And then I thought, I've not even been to the doctors, because I was totally not focused on it anymore. I was more focused on I can do this, I can do that, without saying, oh, but do I need that inhaler? Oh, can't go out the house without my inhaler. None of that. And I was like, oh, wow. And then from that, and then I let it go. I didn't delve into thinking, oh, will it come back? Will it this? I just thought, oh, well, let's see, maybe 2 years. And then fast forward, it was like, I'd say, years ago. And then I saw I wasn't going to the doctors, but I didn't realise how much I'd moved past this asthma story till I went to the doctors a few years ago. Not for anything health-wise, but this is when I was still scared of the dentist. I went for some antibiotics because I had a tooth abscess and I didn't want to go to the dentist. So talking still a few years ago. So I went to the doctors and they said, oh, right, yeah, I'll prescribe you these. You have got an abscess. Please go to the dentist when this has gone down me. And I was thinking, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. Anyway, while I was there, as they do, these doctors, oh, well, we've got you here. We don't see you. In fact, we've not seen you for a very long time. Can we send you for some bloods? Check you're healthy. I was like, yeah, right, no. But then I thought, oh, wow, they don't even know me. I mean, when I had the asthma, they all knew me by name and sight, because I was always there. Well, I lived there, basically, for one thing or another. And I thought, oh, they don't even know me anymore. I mean, wow. And I thought, oh, wow, it's been like 10 years. And then I just realised, yeah, the label of asthmatic no longer stuck. I wasn't that character of Colette that had asthma. She wasn't an asthmatic. And with that, I was like, oh, wow. That's just amazing. So, but from that, I didn't share like on here on Facebook till a few years ago. You'll see the old video where I shared it. I look younger. No. And I've lost my train of thought. So I shared it a few years ago, but I hadn't, that's the first time I'd shared it, because then there was thinking that'd come in saying, well, if you share it, you might get it back. See how the mind invitations with the thoughts, you might get it back, and then what? And then I thought, that's just rubbish. That's just mind invitations again, and what a load of rubbish. I thought, I'm sharing this story because I know it will help other people, not just if you've been labelled asthmatic, but whatever label's been stuck on you. And like I say in that old video, this is my story. I'm not telling you not to go to the doctors. I'm not telling you not to take medication. I'm just telling you my story and how what I did with the wisdom that came through for me in moment to moment. So I didn't just go all of a sudden, oh right, well if there's nothing wrong, there's no asthma there, I'll just go and bin all these inhalers, shall I? I didn't think like that. I just listened to the wisdom And then there was nothing for me, the character, to do. The wisdom, the truth of who we are, like, did its thing through me just listening. And that's all I did each time. Do I really need to use that? No, I don't. And then I just stopped saying that. My focus and attention was on health. So it just happened naturally, really, really naturally. And now I do share this with everybody. And it was only today when I was talking to a client and I said, oh no, so we knew my asthma story, because I thought it was on this YouTube. But anyway, it is now. So, so if you've any questions to ask, just sit and ask yourself, because you are the operant power. You are this awareness that knows everything. I know everything, but at that point, I didn't know any of this. I still thought I was a body, but still wisdom, who I am, came through. It still got through because I listened. I listened to Mark when he was brave enough to say, it's all in your head. And I did it first. Oh, well, specialists don't think that. But who knew that, it was a story that was made up from specialists and doctors and parents when I was 2, and a belief I took on and lived the whole of that life to us 40. And it wasn't nice. It was very difficult. There was lots of things I didn't do that they said you couldn't do, and you just believe, thinking, swimming was one of them. That's changed now. Apparently swimming's good for asthmatics now. But when I was diagnosed with this story, he said, oh no, you can't swim, you can't go for long walk, you can't exert yourself, can't. And now I can. And I've seen that step by step by doing what comes to me. Like, I didn't just go and run up a mountain straight away. I took it with what wisdom said. Oh, I'll just do this. Oh, I'll just do that. And then now I go and climb mountains in the Lake District. No problem. And yeah, I'll get a bit breathless, but just like everyone else, I don't put a label on, I'm going to have to go and get an inhaler here. No, I'm just a bit breathless. I am climbing a mountain. No big deal. That's it. No big deal. And any of these thoughts that come in about anything health-wise or anything, they're just thoughts. You don't even need to push against them. You just see them for what they are, little bursts of nothingness. That's it. Let them do the thing. Let them have a party. Who cares? Because you're the operant power. Have a party with them. And now I'm so free. And like, if I have any other little health niddles, like the one that followed that one a few years ago was the hormone thing that us women have. And I kind of fought against that for a little bit until I realised, oh yeah, you're resisting, you're fighting. Fight for balance, yeah. How does that go? Now, don't fight for anything. Just be the operant power, awareness, full health and perfection. You really are. I'm not talking about the character. You really are that operant power. You are the health. And I know, because I've been to the story, I've lived the story of unhealth, thinking it was real, thinking the asthma attacks, yeah, they were real experiences. But it was never, ever the truth of who I am. It's not the truth of who you are. So I hope you've enjoyed this updated version that now exists on YouTube. Okay, thanks. Bye.